you know, is the Fountain Laser carry of the late game. We've seen Teddy B, we've seen so many AD carries be this season. If KT get indecisive, like Pays was in that Aphelios game. So anything could happen here. I have no confidence in either side. It's just going to be about who plays better today.
Yep, stoppable force versus movable object, Wolf. That's what we like to see. And speaking of stoppable forces, the unstoppable version is going to be banned away. Pantheon also taken away here as well, as KT looking to protect that man on your screen right there, Cuz. And his pick, you can see Pioshik thinking about what they want to ban. It's going to be Varus, guys. It has to be Varus or Rumble. And it doesn't matter the order.
It doesn't really matter the order, no, on second pick side. So this final ban here, a little bit more up in the air. Could see a Jarvan ban again. Would not mind it. Orianna will be the opt, so they're saying we're going to get the Azir.
And they might,
and so
because Varus kind of has to be banned.
We'll get a Taliyah game. That's why they banned the Pantheon. Question is what comes with the Taliyah? Probably Vi.
Well, this is the thing that's kind of crazy about this, because Varus is so incredibly strong, but we haven't seen it yet. It's just been kind of banned every single time. Let's see whether DNS are going to give us a little bit of a sneak peek.
I think Pays
they aren't.
Was the only one who got to play it in that
right,
series.
yes, true. And it was kind of ridiculous.
He did pop off. They'll opt for the Vi, actually, over the Azir.
That's kind of insane. And with B2D, he's pretty good at Taliyah, so maybe that's what they're going for. You get Taliyah Vi if they do lock away the Azir.
And Closer is not as good at Azir.
Although he does like to play it.
I think this is a cool way to kind of change things up completely.
Nico and Bessa.
So this actually is really strong for the supers here.
And the thing that's really cool about this is that even if Yunara is picked away, you don't really care too much, because you've got Aphelios, things like this, that can be really strong. And Nico helps out in the laning phase so much that you can play these hyper carries.
Exactly. You could play almost Kai'Sa in this draft if you want to.
Yeah, true.
Nico. Like your options are really quite open. And now if you go for the Azir, you're walking into the Taliyah on the other side, and instead of getting the counter pick you expected. So a big curveball here thrown by the supers. They will still make the Gen G choices.
Oh, Closer!
Closer loves this matchup too. He's a great Akali player. I don't take Taliyah in this one, Wolf.
You thought 2025 was Closer's best individual year. What about 2026, Wolf? Let's see whether he can make it happen.
But yeah, maybe.
This is also set up to be very scary, because this is B2D's Azir. This is perfect on Renekton and able to protect the matchup as well. We could see Cannon Narbans come through like what we saw in our previous series from DRX, and there is the Cannon to start us off.
Any person who would want to play Poppy into Nico in the bottom lane. I'm looking for that person. We keep seeing this ban, and I'm like, I don't know if anyone ever would want to make that choice.
I mean, people do.
Carrion made that choice once, and like it did not go well for him.
Yeah. It is seen as like an option into the Nico, because you can just sort of get rid of her, but I don't really like it myself.
I was expecting to see range supports only, but now they only get to ban the Lulu, so now like Bard is playable. This bottom lane gets a little bit easier here for KT Rolster.
I imagine the Gnar is going to be banned. If you're going to invest the Cannon ban, you almost have to ban the Gnar.
Honestly, yeah, I agree with that. I think they probably will. I kind of feel that KT just play Ezreal Karma here, call it a day. They already have a lot of engage. They can win the bottom lane by default. They have a lot of scaling. The Ezreal's safe into the Nico, the Mbessa. And when I said you could even play Kai'Sa here, it was kind of, I was being a little bit facetious, but it works well with their comp.
Yeah, it fits with what the composition wants to do, which is go forward, dive in on top of a single target.
Atlas, it's also pretty good into Ezreal, and I think it's either going to be Ezreal, Kai'Sa, or sorry, Ezreal Karma or Ezreal Leona. That's my expectation.
Yeah, we'll just have to see what Aiming does want to do.
Dude throwing down,
locking away the Gwen. That will put the Ambessa into the jungle. But that is kind of what we were expecting here, as Aiming on the Corki this time around could be the option. And denying Corki Nico is seeming to me like a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I think that is a bit of a pivot here. Corki Nami.
Seen this tech many times. The lane is just pretty strong. And so that is what Ghost is going to be playing this time. Let's see what Dr. Arm wants to be picking up into this, is the Jhin. They already have a lot of damage. I actually don't mind the Jhin here. Pretty safe. You can just sort of stand back and try and not get swept up by the Azir. See how it does go. There's a lot of volatility in this DNS draft, though.
Yeah, the more we go down this list of champions, I liked how it started. I'm not as happy with how it ended. There's a lot of power budgeted here, and there are some good matchup things, like the Nico helps you win the lane with anybody. You have the Akali into the Azir, and the Gwen it played perfectly into Perfect himself here on this Renekton. Like, it's going to scale well. It's going to be a side lane threat. There's not a lot to set up this Mbessa, though, and we've seen Mbessa do really well with Wild Growth to help follow, or a Nautilus, for example, to help set up the engage. I look at KT's comp, I'm like, wow, the Corki does a lot of damage. Going to be fine in lane, pretty safe. BDD is on Azir, the mid pick right now, and they got the Renekton for Perfect, and they have Vi for engage with this Nami. I definitely have to feel like, especially with the caliber of players here on the side of KT with these champions, that I go their way. Even though the draft, I think, started off so great with the curveballs we saw for DNS.
Yeah, I think there are like a lot of options if DNS hold on to vision control and manage to get picks, right? Because their skirmishing power with this composition is so high. Their 1-3-1 is also kind of deadly with Akali and the Gwen in side lanes. They can be very, very slippery and get things done. But I think if you ever 5v5 against KT, you're just gonna kind of die. Just with the amount of AoE damage and CC that's available here. The Renekton, even on top of players with that Dominus running, is just very, very scary to deal with. And I think the slow and steady approach here for KT should be able to get them across the line. But I think everyone knows that this is going to be one of those roller coaster games that we don't really know what's going to happen. The DNS fan chants were kind of crazy, as Pyosik might get baited. Cuz is just going to walk towards him, but not actually going to bite off anything more than that.
Those weapons that, like, Pyosik has 2 of the Renekton weapons we've talked about. We tried to figure out the name, and
yeah,
if somebody said it was like, actually, it's just a scythe. I'm like,
it's a glaive something.
Yeah. Anyway, it looked like crossbows on this Mbessa skin.
Which is
Imagine Mbessa dashing around like that with ranged attacks.
Yeah, it'd be like Vayne, but with 2.
Yeah.
Wait, doesn't Vayne have 2?
Yeah, she does, actually.
Yeah, I made a mistake.
But she doesn't have that many dashes, okay?
True. As Closer is going to start electrocuting, but BDD is just going to start hitting, which is working out quite nicely. This is sort of an awkward matchup in the early levels for the Akali, but then you can really have some all-in pressure.
Yep.
And the slipperiness is going to help against the Emperor's Divide.
Exactly. The Shuriken and the backflip play you can have with that allows you to make a lot of really fun stuff happen, where you outplay the Azir and outposition Sand Soldiers and stuff like that. But yeah, you are not really a champion in most matchups as Akali at level 1. BDD is very aware of this.
Yep. And now going to have the Shroud, so at least it does get into position to throw down these 5-point strikes. I think BDD going to be very happy in the laning phase and should be able to get themselves a bit of a mid-lead at least. The advantage, though, is here on this bottom side is the Nico Ezreal with some early push. Feeling pretty good. Yep. And here on the top side of the map, I think that the Renekton early on should be very happy, and then may not be able to fight later, especially with the Ignite taken here by Dudu.
Exactly. The Ignite, very smart. We're seeing, because Gwen doesn't really get that much value out of Flash, some flexibility there in summoner spells. It depends on the matchup, of course. Sometimes the Flash can still be valuable. But into the Renekton, ability to just deny his healing and look for those angles feels really nice. Actually, goes for an early back, grabs an Amp Tome, TP's back in with the lead that Perfect has. So Perfect is like, cool, got a free TP.
There you go. Pyosik now here towards his bottom side of the map is actually blitzed through the jungle. Some cute little tech there with that red buff from Krugs. But will be able to get himself this one very easily, as we do have Cuz moving towards that top side looking to try and get that trade. So jungle is pretty close in timing, but Pyosik back to base a little bit earlier.
I'm not 100% sure what happened in the bottom lane, but Ghost was forced to back, and so a lead is quickly forming here for Duckdom on the bottom side.
Ooh, that was looking a little bit dicey there, but BDD just shifts the sand, says no to any sort of aggression. And Closer is actually ahead by just a little bit. Teleport back from both of our mid laners. And so feeling pretty good about that one. Peter will be able to snare up Ghost yet again, though. That ebb and flow should be able to get that health bar back up, but
Ghost, man, you just got
hit
back.
by everything. Yeah,
just got back here.
That is not what you want to see. Is all right. Valkyrie out from aiming. That means that all of his mana is gone, basically. As Ghost possibly caught out. There's a heal having to be invested.
Oof.
And DNS just outplaying them here in this bottom lane.
Yeah, I don't think Amy is to be happy with how this early game is going, as the support is unfortunately taking big chunks. Peter gets hit by this, we'll have to delay his back, and it's not leading to a massive lead, but, you know, a plate goes over, accelerates the AD carry quest.
And one of the problems here as well is, okay, Gwen not so immune, but Dudu is still going to be able to win the health trade. The problem is that both of these AD carries want to build the same items. So
yes,
the advantage that you can get is actually very, very noticeable.
It's very real when you see it. You're like, oh, wow, okay, both these champions do a very similar thing, and he has it first, so he's going to do the thing really well. This early game going very well for the Nico lane. Like we said before, you know, the Nico lane turns any lane into a winning lane, basically. But the Corki can hold its own. It's just that, unfortunately, Ghost got hit by too much stuff.
Yeah, he did. And so Dr. playing it out very well. But I don't think KT are going to be too worried about anything that's going on at this point in the game. They understand that they do scale pretty nicely. Decent bridge as well with the 2-item spike from the Corki as far as mid-game is concerned. And then B2D on his Azir for the later stages to get stuff done. As Dr. is going to miss the Mystic Shot, but Phosphorus Bomb also goes wide as Peter, looking for an angle, does get a Valkyrie out of aiming.
It's just this constant tug of war that DNS are getting small incremental advantages on every single time. Right now it looks like, oh, it's totally fine. It's only like 5 CS down, it's only 150 gold, but this keeps adding up. You know, that leads to another plate, leads to a dragon. It's these types of advantages you do not want to be giving up early. Very difficult to play into the Nico lane, but perhaps could have been a little bit better mitigation, as there's no Corki here, cuz.
Yeah, but Pyoshik is taking a fair bit of damage from this one. Peter moving over, does still have those Tangle Barbs.
Honestly, Cuz just being here kind of bails his bottom lane out a little bit. He's like, I might fight for the dragon. Don't look at the Corki Ami lane over there. No, leave them alone. Let them catch those minions. That's kind of all he was able to accomplish.
Okay, nice little Aqua Prison. That was a little bit frightening for a moment there, but it's all right. So, Dragon just goes over to DNS, and there's not too much of a response here from KT at this point in time. I think Intelligent, like you were saying, they didn't have a Corki at the time, and so they do have to be a little bit careful. Some Crystalline Overgrowth going to net a plate here for aiming most likely.
It's like, you get Dragon, my bottom lane can play the game for a second. And that's a trade I'll take at this point with how things were going. And the lead is gone, right? It's basically back to normal. Ghost does have his heal coming up in just a second here that he used earlier. And
yeah, maybe the 2v2 kind of works here for KT, as Peter is looking a little worse for wear. But Dr. still feeling like he's pretty strong. Does have his Sheen complete, so a decent spike for the Ezreal in the earlier stages.
How safe is Ezreal is the question, because we talked about Teddy's game earlier. If you guys missed it, he popped off and was definitely front runner for picking up POM had they won the series.
Yep.
Bro is out, sadly, though. But the Ezreal's not as safe in this comp. Like, Teddy had a lot of free reign in the last one because there weren't a lot of ways to lock down the Ezreal. This time, there's a Vi, right? There's the Azir, which can do damage at quite a high range and can zone you really well. It's hard to pop off in the same way that Teddy did in that last game. Not to mention that Corki can just Valkyrie on top of you and kill you if he has a lead. So Duckdom's life is going to be a little bit harder this time around on this Ezreal pick.
And the fact that you can layer things on top of the cease and desist is also pretty painful, as Cuz can just press R, then you've got the Aqua Prison,
Tidal Wave,
all sorts of things that can come through on top. The Crocodile just wandering over to you, slicing and dicing. That could be one of the problems, but right now the gold is completely tied up between these squads. Just a Dragon in favor of DNS. And the next one is going to be an Infernal here, coming up relatively soon. We'll see what our soul is going to be. Hopefully Orc's paying attention, because it could be a Chemtech again. Chemtech actually feels pretty good if you're either of these teams, because there's a lot of sustain sort of inherently on a lot of these champs, and shields and things like this.
Yeah, not to mention that both the Renekton and the Gwen are going to love the Soul passive. So, all right, looks like aiming and Ghost have gotten out of this one without any disasters occurring. For a moment, felt like it could get rough, like it is for Closer right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, -1's in chat, as Cuz going to be taking this grub away. See whether he can get two of them. Should be able to. Does have smite. Some needlework to come through from Dudu, who's looking
Pyoshik wants to look for a kill.
A little bit problematic. And yeah, Pyoshik is going to make his way over. Slice and dice from Perfect to get himself out of there. Still has the dominance and flashes, actually, as Tidal Wave is avoided here by Doctor, but the Aqua Prison is not. And that is First Blood going over to aiming underneath this turret. Ghost tanks it up beautifully. Sometimes you're just not allowed to stick around.
Yeah, a bit of greed and a great punish there from Ghost.
So all of that good work is negated, Wolf.
Yeah.
This whole wave!
This whole wave is gone.
Oh no.
Feels bad, man. And Duckdom here, greeting a little bit, avoids the tidal wave, but when you're stuck between the turret and the wall, that's exactly where any support was trying to land, or anyone just in general wants to land an ability. You have the least amount of movement in that space, so Ghost is like, checkmate, buddy, you cannot get out of here.
And it looks like he misses the tidal wave, but he forces the arcane shift so that Doctom has to use it. So
he's in that awkward spot between the turrets. He doesn't have boots. He can't outrun it.
Did he have flash?
He did. He could have flashed it.
Right. Well, maybe that was an option. However, he may have also just died and used flash, which would have also been sad. So might have been that he was just dead to rights. Anyway,
I think maybe Ghost takes an extra turret shot, you know, in that situation, or they have to back away if he flashes. It's tough to say. Maybe Duckdom gets killed back. It's hard to judge it in that moment.
Yeah. Hindsight is, of course, 2020.
I think Duckdom's brain was probably focusing on, I think I can walk out of this tidal wave, or out of the bubble. You could not, sadly for him, though.
Nope. Still able to get a fair bit of damage down here as another great bubble connects here from Ghost. He's got his eye in, although he does get hit by every other button as well.
I think that Ghost's ability to hit things has been good. His ability to dodge things has been less good.
Yeah, no, the hit things also counts for stuff hitting him.
Yes.
So it's a double-edged sword.
Things are hitting. Hitting different here in the bottom lane for KT. I also think one of the things I will say about Ghost is his decisions in terms of positioning in lane have sometimes been problematic, but his decisions when he's roaming, when he's outside of lane, his mechanics as well have been phenomenal. And that's coming from an X80 carry, right? Who, you know, sometimes you just have to position only and press, you know, your attack move. But Ghost has actually been quite good with his mechanics and his ability to land skill shots.
Some of the issues for Ghost have been like sticking around for too long and not reading the state of the game that well, because he was stopping backs when he was able to be killed. That was the last series that really did sort of hinder him. But right now, hasn't had any of those issues.
But by George, he will stop that back.
Exactly.
And then he will die for it. But like, he will hit the thing.
I don't know why George has to dictate it, but that's fine. As Pyoshik in the area, because has already started off this dragon. Mid lane control is there for BDD, which is why KT are probably happy to go for this. But the bottom lane, moving on forward there. Cease and desist onto Pyoshik. He tries to ult his way out, but it doesn't quite work out here. Tidal Wave is decent. Pop Blossom's better. And Pyoshik just takes down Cuz. He said cease and desist, and Pyoshik said no.
Yeah, that was a pretty weird interaction there. Not really 100% on board with how they wanted to play that. The dragon goes over, so they want to make something of it, but...
And also, pressing your cease and desist button onto the one guy that has the ability to
stop ceasing?
Unstoppable, yeah. It's problematic. Let's have a look at it one more time here, as Cuz just really wanted to press up.
He's on dragon, and they have the rotation over, but they don't have to play for this engage. They can instead just play for the slow fight.
Yeah.
Not sure about that one, but ultimately it means that not only do they not get the dragon, but they also give a kill.
Buttons being pressed here towards this top side of the map is now perfect. No flash available. And there is the flash tank above from Peter, and down goes the crocodile. Perfect. Unfortunately, not living up to his name there, but didn't really have too much of a chance without flash to get out.
We'll see if DNS can turn this extra momentum into a big lead here on the top side and a side lane threat. They don't have any grubs, so any money this Gwen gets will be valuable to try to set that up later. Bottom side is air quotes under control of KT because they have this push in, but there's no support there. Peter just got his first item, his belt. He is going to come over here. And we see a rotation for Closure.
As Doctor, oh no, not again. Surely not again. As aiming picks up turret aggro, only takes one shot there and almost destroys Doctom's entire health bar. True shot barrage, big value.
Peter's ult's coming back up. They really need to be careful about overextending here. They will back away.
Oh, the Dragon never got taken.
Yeah, no, it didn't get taken actually earlier because Cuz dropped it to go for the all-in, which was what the crazier thing. Peter.
Peter is the one with health, so they're not going to fall for it this time around. Perfect. Pushes this wave in. Dragon goes down over to KT. They still have a decent advantage as Hextech. Oh my goodness. A Drake apiece for both of our teams as well.
1 for 1.
This is a fun one.
So going back to this play here, Perfect looks for the Dominus all in, presses his W, and then stays here.
Yeah,
trying to look for one more empowered Q, and then he's dead.
Yeah, he had level 11, so he had the extra level in the Dominus, which makes him feel pretty good. But
I also don't think he hit anything with his E to get a second dash there, if I read that correctly, and so just does not actually have the ability to get away.
Nope. Not a chance. It's Cuz moving down towards his bottom side. I'm pretty sure he was unseen. But nothing else going to happen. As Closer now going to discover a Crocodile. Throws down his little Twilight Shroud and should be just fine.
Cuz does have flash and ult. This is a dangerous position for Dudu.
Yeah, let's see how immune the Gwen's going to be as the Aqua Prison does go down. Hit by the kitchen sink, and down he will go.
That's a turret.
First Star Blood.
Yeah, big win here for the bottom of the side of the map here for KT. And all right, the Observer's trying to keep up with all the silliness that's happening in this early part of this game, but we just keep exchanging blows as Pyosik is now going to go up here and take this Herald. And even with BDD having flash and ult, there's just no one else in the area with the backs for Aiming and Ghost to contest. But we talked about the race, right? You mentioned it earlier in these 2 item 80 carries. Aiming is the victor. He has a 1,500 gold lead, and he is going to be the one who is about to transform this Murmana. It's so quick he has it, actually, that it's not quite about to transform, but either way, we'll have it first.
This is actually huge. We mentioned it, and it has come to pass, and Aiming is the main benefactor, and 1.4k is just a lot of extra gold, so it's going to take Dr. Arm a little while in order to get there. It's also have the core fields already.
When you consider the Renekton and Azir mid-game power with a Vi, plus Corki that can follow up. Yeah, he doesn't have his transformation, but he's still really strong here. It's just feels like KT can do whatever they want now on the map. It's just not really a bad place to fight, as long as they make sure they position well. And this Akali is not accelerated, right? It's behind 300 gold, and sometimes with Akali, you hit this expiration date if you don't really get any kills or any pressure in sides, and that may be the fate of Closer here.
And you also want to be able to execute the 80 carry. And that's going to be hard when Aiming is as big as he is, right? On this Corki. So it can be a dangerous time right now, parking themselves in the mid lane. And KT still with firm control, 2,000 gold in the lead, 2 minutes on this next Dragon. But there is a Rift Herald in hand as Aiming just walks towards Doctarm. Doctarm doesn't really like it. Peter moving up as Aiming missed a cannon. Oof, that doesn't feel good. Maybe DNS are back in the lead.
Starting to stack his tier as quickly as he can. He has parity with Doctarm in that regard, but has that extra item worth of stats. Perfect.
Buttons once again as the needlework comes on through. Both of them level 2 and perfect. Wasn't lit on fire yet. Yeah, this is looking like Dudu should be able to chase him down. Doesn't have Ghost, so the movement speed could be a problem. Gets the slice back, and Perfect with the turret still up. He's going to be okay as now Dudu, oh dear, realizes that he has to teleport in order to get himself out.
Okay, so that's a win in the side lane for Perfect, who lost in the 1v1, but then had friends show up, and therefore actually is the one who wins. And will actually even get to push an extra wave in before he backs here. And that's a big turnaround there. And like, because Aiming and Ghost didn't even really have to fully show up, they didn't lose anything. Now, this Herald is going to crash into a top lane, which is a top lane turret, which is quite rare. It isn't going to take it out either. It just felt like they wanted to force some sort of cross map here. But where the bread is buttered on the Rift right now is on the bottom side of the map, where that Dragon is spawning. Will be the second Drake for either team to propel themselves closer to this Hextech Soul. See the gold here, the lead relatively inconsequential. There was a bite taken out, but KT have gotten back in the lead. I just kind of feel like when you look at these compositions, and the lead is not a KT lead, it's an Aiming lead, and everyone else is still going to do their jobs at an even game state. I think DNS need to be really proactive, need to look for a good fight here, they need to set something up with this Nico pick. Because the Nico was picked, I think, initially to probably just win lane, and they were doing that until they lost control after one mistake. And now it's kind of like, well, I mean, are you winning anywhere?
And I feel like this is personal for Aiming. You know, he wanted to prove that KT made the right choice, you know, of picking him up instead of trying to hold on to Doctom. I have absolutely no idea what actually went down, so don't quote me on that, but it's what it kind of feels like at this point in time.
I like the manufactured story. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. I buy it. That's what we have to do.
I'll buy it. Yeah, I'm into it.
I need to tell everyone that I am indeed lying. However, if it was true, it'd be fun.
You're speculating.
Speculating. Yeah, isn't that another word for lying? Or just like, oh wait, it's.
It means you think it might be the case.
Yeah, or I think it could potentially be the
case.
Yes. Yeah. It's not a true diagnosis, though, but it is fun to think about, as Aiming did indeed replace Doctom on this team. Let's get hit by a W there, but not going to be too worried and looking for another
look, you're not saying Aiming like TP Duckdom's apartment after he was signed, or rather the reverse, like Duckdom did that to Aiming after he took his spot. Like, you know, but I think there's probably some feelings of like, let me prove myself in this matchup again. Yeah,
I was like, what happens in the KT frat house, Wolf? You know? This hazing ritual's crazy. Is all right, Cuz getting himself out of there. I don't know anything about that. We don't have the frat house thingy in Australia. We just
I wasn't really a part of it, so I mean, I heard stories about it, but you know, it's probably not like the movies. Or maybe it's worse than the movies. I'm just speculating.
So you're lying as well. You'll love to see it. All right, KT on full vision are going to be trying to take this dragon. Let's see whether Pyosik can go for any sort of interruption as the Drake will get stopped. Double teleports to bring in both Dudu and Closer, but that should mean that DNS can now take this dragon, and they do so, leaving Perfect to his ways on the top side. But I still think getting themselves this first Hextech dragon is a big deal.
Yeah, it is, I think, a big deal, especially because this was the moment where they didn't quite have that transformation for the Muramana for Duckdom. And the fact that they're able to just kind of show up and get this for free, and it's on the cross map where Renekton that gets plate gold, doesn't feel like it's really equivalent here for KT. KT still have a leading position in terms of the gold, and the Corki is still further ahead and has those components in his inventory. But it doesn't matter if they're not used to fight, right?
Yep.
And like, yes, now he has the rapid fire cannon advantage, but we're not doing Baron on spawn here. So DNS kind of cheat their way to a little bit of longevity in this game, and I do think this trade overall favors them. And I think KT, I mean, I like the idea of not taking an unfavorable fight, but they had TP on the Renekton. They could have shown up and looked for that scrap, just not confident.
And Aiming now with the rapid fire cannon is just the main thing that this does is make him incredibly annoying in lane.
Yep.
As Pyosik with like endless hunger here. Yeah, the rapid fire proc is just so frustrating. And imagine if he had that as well as Hextech Soul. The game would be very, very frustrating to play. Same can be said on the other side. I think that Hextech Soul is kind of ridiculous for every single team, but especially like Ezreal abuses it so incredibly much. As does Azir and Corki, and Gwen, and like Ambessa and Akali. Like it's just kind of ludicrous. Maybe Akali a little bit less because you're a little bit more burst focused, but still. This is going to be a highly sought after dragon.
Yeah, I mean, if you hit your shuriken on somebody and get that slow.
Yeah.
You know, who knows who's going to follow? That could be the thing that gets Peter into Pop Blossom range.
Hey, true. Although Peter always seems to be in Pop Blossom range, he's Peter.
Yeah, he does have his flash available for an upcoming fight, but we're not quite at do Baron territory. I think the only team that could do it if they had a larger lead than they have now is KT because they have this Azir, but he doesn't have his second item just yet. If he has Nashor's Tooth, maybe they could threaten. They're threatening the idea of it, though, with the vision control. But, I mean, there's Hex Gates on the Rift here as well, so tough to try to sneak or start one of these. You're going to have to look for a turn instead. And they're just playing the vision game. They do not need to force. They're going to sit back and sit on their lead because their comp scales incredibly well.
Yeah, I think they're happy with this game going along 100%.
As long as this Gwen doesn't get out of control in sides, and KT kind of have unlimited time here, especially because the Renekton already has such a lead. It's going to be such a long time before Dudu actually can start to take over, if he does it all.
And the itemization is so comfortable as well. With the fact that it's double AP solos, you can build more of Malmortius and Merc Treads and feel pretty good about it. And so a lot of extra magic resist here for the Crocodile.
Just in general, he's basically saying, this is an island where it's our own private 1v1, and my 80 carry is ahead, so they went on that side. All I have to do is mitigate you, or anyone I solo lane against, if the Akali would swap and head against him. And in team fights, he's just that extra bit tankier. And so KT, I think, are really going to pick their battles wisely here, and not fighting for that dragon. I think they could have fought for it right. It gives DNS a lot, but I don't think that a lot is enough to say they're in a comfortable position just yet. And now I think KT can decide, okay, like this next dragon, we fight for it, or because of this Nashor's Tooth is done for the Azir, if we don't have that favorable position, we can just run over to the Baron and look for that instead. Like, they have a lot of options.
And they also now have Hex Drinker on aiming as well. We were talking about the double AP, and so he is a little bit more protected as well. So feeling very, very nice about that one as well. As Dusk and Dawn done here for Dudu. So 2 items apiece for both of our top laners. A little bit of extra power here for the Gwen. Feeling good on 2 items, but the problem is the game state is not necessarily feeling fantastic right now. As Perfect is on the way to his next one. Level 16 here, level 3 on the Dominus.
Cuz in a threatening position. If anyone comes over and tries to cross through without vision, now he's just gonna look for a steal.
Well, and it is just gonna be stolen away. Cuz just walks up, presses Smite.
Less annoying than it used to be when that would give the whole team the buff.
True.
Still annoying as BDD has full side lane control. KT are completely set up to take this dragon, right? I mean, they have Perfect with TP, he's level 16. He's got his empowered TP. He is just like, all right, if you guys call for me, I'll be there. Otherwise, I'll stop the Gwen from being there. You guys got this without me. And as long as the Gwen doesn't sneak through and get here faster, I don't see a way for DNS to contest this without a sick engage, right? Like, it's a big pop blossom for Peter, but because they don't have prio, it's really tough for him to actually make that happen.
And the item state is just really dire here as aiming has sort of hit this really nice spike with even the cheeky Hex Drinker there as well. And so he's very scary. There's the flash away from Ghost. Make sure that public execution doesn't land. As BDD a little bit worse for wear, but now Pioshik gets altered once again here by Cuz, who goes incredibly deep. Afro Prison is decent on to close it somehow, but Cuz is once again just going to die, and aiming just auto attacks the Akali, and she is dead as well. The Arcane shift forward is dire here from Docton at the same time as the Emperor's Divide gets Pioshik out of there. Not sure what he was doing, going back in. However, he is definitely out now, as now Dudu wants to find his avenue in, as aiming has gone too far forward. It's an absolute mess, but the cleanup crew is down, and Perfect looked a little bit worse for wear. Still, it's BDD. What was that?
He doesn't have ult. He wanted the shield. He thought he had enough damage to burst them down, but it is not enough. And that's Rise Group, baby, or likely will be if things continue this way. Anyway, back to the fight.
That's sole point. That's sole point for DNS.
Like, back to the fight at hand. I want to watch Cuz here. Ghost has to flash away, right? Peter, I don't know, but it makes the fight more fair. Now, this engage here, when Pioshik has this angle, I think is a bit too deep, as there's an attempt to deny here on the dragon, but it looks like it's not going to work out. Let's see if Cuz lives. He is going to be fine. But anyway, the crux of this is BDD takes so much damage here. He does a lot as well, right? But at this point, you could actually just leave. BDD has to use his ult here to stop Pioshik, which we were like, why is Pioshik doing this? But he does not complete his recall. And Dudu shows up here now, they're stuck. They don't have the damage without the Corki. I don't think they really accounted for this. And Perfect, I said they just gotta, just gotta stay on top of the Gwen. Make sure the Gwen can't join. The Gwen joined. And the BDD looks for this all in because he was likely dead anyways.
And he had a lot of Sand Soldiers, so I guess just wanted to make the Sand Soldiers dance. That was beautiful to watch. If you guys are missing the Fries group, don't worry, it'll be back later. But it's not here yet, but it does certainly feel like it is. As DNS move out to a kill lead as well as a huge dragon lead. Soul Point is just massive. We mentioned already how important it is for an Ezreal to pick this buff up, and they are one dragon away from securing it.
This is anyone's game to take. It really, really is.
Oh, yeah. I do think that later on in the game, it's going to be a lot more finesse required here for DNS, unless they can get that little bit further ahead and then control the 1-3-1.
Oh yeah, you had an analytical
certainly
reason.
An avenue for
you had a real analytical and composition-based reason. I just watched that last fight. I'm like, yeah, no, anyone could win. KT has 7,000 gold here now. I'm like, I'm not sure.
Wow, aiming just almost got 2-tapped.
Yeah, he's 1,000 gold ahead, but what does it mean when Ezreal just hits you like that? Does he hit you like this? No.
No.
Luckily for aiming.
This poor little toboggan. That more of Malmortius not doing a whole lot into the Ezreal, even though he does do a little bit of magic damage. Mainly it's physical.
I wonder now, like, who will make the mistake to break this game open? Because now we get to the side lane finesse sort of argument you were talking about. Like, you have the Dudu, Gwen, big menace here, does have the Dusk and Dawn looking for a third item fairly soon. and will be even more difficult to kill insides and will actually rip these turrets off the map versus like, is Duckdom hitting all of his shots? So far the answer is yes, but maybe they go on an objective too early. So yeah, that also hurts. There's a rapid fire cannon you mentioned, it's so annoying.
Yeah. This is what it's built for, so also, aiming can just be frustrating in the mid lane.
He also has red buff, so he hits you with that, and then you're like, ugh, get away from me.
I kind of like the build, though, from aiming, just because you don't really need that much armor penetration against this composition.
No. The Azir
armor built up.
Kind of has that covered with this build.
Yep.
So the Liandry's burn will be enough. It's a bit of a battle Azir with the Riftmaker as well.
Yeah,
He's got the extra shield from the Merc Tread, so I like that aiming is playing. I mean, he will end up getting a lot of extra damage here once his IE is done, but he is like sitting on, I will harass you slowly throughout this game, and BDD will do the rest. And it's a really cool and safe way to play this, where you're always a little bit oppressive. Speaking of oppressive.
Yeah, DNS have a lot of people around the Baron, but Dudu is very, very dead. Just swept up here by the Shuriman duo. Is it enough? Well, Pyosik is here, not doing Baron, so no need to worry about any sort of cross-map situation, and that is just Dudu cleaned up.
And Dudu is a real, like, he's the one that if you kill him, they can't actually try to play a macro game. Like, they have to just kind of wait it out and stem the bleeding in the mid lane. Like, KT don't even need to get Baron right now to make this into a super big play, because they already have a lead. They do tons of damage to turrets, as you guys could see here. Bam. Man, Crystalline Overgrowth procced, and that's the turret gone. And this means no turret here defensively to set up around for this next dragon. So KT, sure, they gave that last dragon up, felt really bad, but in such a commanding position, surely they won't do it again, right? Like, surely this time...
Oh, yeah, never. No,
surely this time they'll get the dragon, deny soul, then we'll see them with that lead that they have, control the waves, and then threaten Barons and turn off of them. Just like they did against T1 with the huge lead, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, no, actually, I remember, if I remember correctly,
no, I don't remember that game. I don't know what you're talking about. Look, you just can't lose with a 15,000 gold lead.
Well, we're about a fifth of the way there.
Yeah, and KT have had like the gold lead throughout most of this game. It just doesn't really seem like DNS got the memo. The Supers have just kind of decided, no, we can still take these fights. We can still take these dragons.
By the way,
if they do get a Hextech Soul, the gold will mean nothing.
I know we've all been a little bit on the Nico hate train. This champion is broken. Oxus mentioned it several times. But like, look at this item build and tell me that's okay.
Yeah.
How is that allowed? Is that okay?
Frozen Heart also just does so much work into this comp.
No, it should not be possible to just automatically win every lane, and I don't know, I'm not getting into it. I love Peter. He's a great Nico player. He's 100% KP this game. It's not his fault that this champion is super busted and flexible.
But can he actually win with it? That's going to be the question here, because KT with control of this dragon, looking to come over and start it up. They will pull it out of the pit. Pyosik moving over.
Surely KT get it this time. They surely don't just cower and let it go. No way. And let Duckdom have free reign with this Ezreal to poke them down while they hesitate.
Well, Cuz wants to press R on someone right now, and I assume it's Pyosik, because that's the player that he's really liked to hit with it.
Maybe play around Dragon KT, look for a turn. Kind of happy feeding a little bit here, and Dragon's right there, Cuz. Okay, pulling it out.
Yeah, and the more poke that lands, the better it is here for KT. Look at their health bars. They are much higher, and they do have the ebb and flow for some sustain, as Pyosik down to 50% already.
I mean, the BDD poke is kind of real. It just keeps zoning, keeps burning them with Liandry's, and eventually it wears down these health bars.
Yeah, conquering the sands, as Peter is just throwing clones in over and over again as Dudu gets into the back of the pit. Closer is rotated around as Cuz has got off this dragon. And BDD is just getting so much control. Duckdom in a lot of trouble here as now Cuz back onto the Drake one more time.
That might have been enough for KT to secure this.
Oh, we'll just have to find out, as even the dragon is getting frustrating here, as BDD now off on his own, possibly in trouble, does have to flash to get himself out of the way, as now Peter gets in there with the Pop Blossom, and BDD Empress Divide from the grave as he is taken down, but now it's KT's turn. Cuz is going to sacrifice himself for the good of the team fight as Perfect gets the stun onto Duckdom, and down goes the Ezreal. Finally, that lead that Aiming had all game pays off.
He chipped away at them so much. They lost so much health from BDD as well before the fight really breaks out. Look at that hit onto Duckdom. That's so huge here. Now they're just going to actually utilize the dragon here to look for a turn, because DNS have to be the ones to pull the trigger, even though Cuz this game so desperately always wants to. Look at how they play this. BD kites back, and then this Pop Blossom hits multiple members here, but look where aiming is. He gets over the wall. Perfect is on top of Dudu. He's just not that tanky. And now with all those low health bars here and all the damage they took, there's just no fight left in this comp, and poor Duckdom. He gets caught here by the stun before he can get over the wall.
I think that was a rapid fire auto again. Oh, it must have been very frustrating because he's been taking a lot of those. There's the Infinity Edge done here at the same time. Only one more item slot here for aiming. Still has the brown bags.
Yeah, he's just going to get a GA, I think.
Yeah, that's it's going to be a lot of value here for the Corki.
He honestly could even, like if he was crazy, go for like a Bloodthirster, but he doesn't need to. And KT now, perfect.
Just going to walk at them. And True Shot Bros does do a fair bit of work, but now it is the Baron. And with Leandries and an Ashes Tooth on BDD.
Uh-oh.
And now he's looking for Doc. Oh, dear. Cease and desist comes in. Ezreal will just be dead, and no need for an Emperor's Divide as Cuz has to flash. Closer on the warpath here, looking for the angle, but does not get it. Cuz is going to be able to steal away a red buff as well.
I mean, they have a huge wave here. They can either try to break open the inhibitor or just Sundisk and rush to Baron. Cuz does have to back because he took a ton of damage there. Also doesn't have his flash. See what KT decide to do here, because in moments like this, if you hesitate too much, you can lose your advantage. Their advantage is starting to become like it was in that T1 game, and look at that. They will threaten the Baron to look for a turn. BDD did not ult critically on the pick, so he still has that as a huge tool here for this upcoming fight.
Well, there's a public execution onto BDD. Emperor's Divide is going to push him back. His BDD's actually pretty durable. He will go down in the end, though, as now Closer into the Shroud. He gets into the backline and executes the fish, but he's dead as a result. And now Perfect in that front line is going to push the rest of them away. I don't know whether it was worth. 2 for 1 there, and BDD the only sacrifice here for KT. I think they got plenty of damage to get through this Baron.
I don't necessarily like how they did it, but I like that they had the confidence to do it. KT,
it's about outcome-focused assessment.
Exactly.
That is what Orcs would tell me, and the outcome was good for KT.
And like BDD kind of dangled himself out there because he knew he had ult. He was like, maybe they engage on me. I think we could turn this. I'm going to shuffle, or sorry, not shuffle, but Emperor's Divide them back. And that's kind of how it started. The crux of this, though, is the initial pick, which allows this play to happen. But those here, BDD goes in, and he's like, no, we have 5 people here. I don't need to ult.
Yeah.
Holds onto that, so he has it here, which buys a ton of space, even though, again, I maybe just play this a little bit slower. Doesn't matter. Results-based assessment means that BD dies, Yoshik also dies, aiming is untouched, and Closer, cool assassination, bro, and then it says aiming and then shoots him in the face. And that is a positive trade and a Baron. Over to KT Rolster. And now that to get the Drakes tied up, even a piece, 3 of them.
And now the Gold King is looking to try and live up to his name as well. The gold advantage here for the Corki is like 4.4k.
That pesky aim.
Why does he still have brown bags? He's got full build.
He doesn't need to upgrade his shoes.
Oh my gosh.
He wants to remind everyone where he came from.
He's like the famous person wearing Dunlop volleys, you know? Well, famously one of the cheapest shoe in Australian supermarkets. It's okay. Dudu teleports in and then wishes he could teleport out again.
Aiming's just reminding everyone he grew up in the bottom lane without a support.
Yeah.
He actually had 2 supports, but he had to survive through the tough lane, laying into a Nico. Nami kept getting rooted, but
he was molded by it or something. Certainly, it's Bane Ming. Bane Ming trying to make it work here as the public execution doesn't do anything at all. And all right. Aiming, feeling like he's back in that gigantic oversized well again. That's what it is, right?
Yes.
In Batman Begins? Okay, good. It's not Batman Begins, it's the next one. The last one. What is it? What's the third one called? Dark Knight and then Dark Knight Rises?
Rises, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Dark Knight was the best one, though.
Yeah, it was. You can't really top it.
I've never seen a movie in theaters more than I saw the movie. I think I saw like 5 times.
My God, that's too many times. I saw too many people hit by that phosphorus bomb as well. That was a lot of damage there. And this turret is also going to go down. The inhibitor likely to follow as well as the True Shot Brush, actually doing a lot of work there as aiming just Valkyries through it for some reason. As Needlework to come out here, Cuz taking a lot of damage is perfect. Gets himself over the wall, but the chase is on here as Dudu makes his way in. The cease and desist is looking very awkward as they do take down the Renekton. Pop Blossom onto 2 as closing gets Emperor's divided. And down to the GA will go the Corki, and now over the wall goes Dudu. The Vault Break is fantastic, but they take down the Vi. Aiming's dead as well as BDD's the next target, but he gets healed up by Ghost. And now Pyoshik gets on top of him, and Ghost goes down as well. It's the ace for DNS, and the roller coaster, it is off the rails.
That's, by the way, Hextech Soul for DNS.
Oh my god.
Now, they do have 0 inhibitors left alive, which is somewhat of a problem. As you can see, Pyoshik is taking the Hextech Soul in live. Now, this angle here for Cuz, again, very risky because they don't really have an exit point. You know, like, he probably could have gone back and they could have all just retreated out. Instead, they try to kind of fight their way back here as it's awkwardly KT in the enemy base trying to kite through as if it's their own base, and they don't really have space here. Mechanically, BDD plays this next set of plays incredibly well, but fortunately, his health bar is just a little bit too low. Doesn't get hit there. Ghost gives him a little bit of healing.
Peter had to Pop Blossom the wave to avoid losing the game.
And finally, they will defend this Nexus.
Well, DNS versus the environment and KT at the same time.
The good news is they can slow those minions down now with Hextech Soul. And neither Perfect nor BDD nor the Nami that doesn't have Unsealed Spellbook have teleport to just TP into the base and end the game. So they can buy time here and just play for Elder and or this next Baron.
If KT loses this game, I fear. I just fear.
There's no way. Nah, you can't.
We've said that before!
But like last time, they had no Siege, they had nothing. Like they had an Akali comp with a Rek'Sai.
I mean, I guess they are against the other team that couldn't close out a lead.
Yeah, this
so maybe it's about the competition.
With all these super minions, surely.
This is a very large Renekton.
It's an Ezreal on the other side trying to clear these. It's taken a while. There's no way KT throw here.
Yeah. No, Wolf. I see what you're doing. Public execution into the backline there as Cuz could be in a bit of trouble. There's the Emperor's Divide to get rid of the Nico, but down goes the Akali before she does anything. But BDD suffers the same fate. Oh God, Wolf, you did it. This is your fault. Aiming still in full health though, and he is looking to get himself the heck out of there because I don't think he's lasting for very long.
The Nexus.
Yes, the minions may win the game. Baron's up in 50 seconds time as well.
Sunday's turret here actually also creating problems.
Wait, it's a 1 for 3. Will DNS ever be able to get out of their base to take a Baron though?
Well,
that's the question.
Maybe in like 2 minutes they'll have all their inhibitors back and they could maybe make a play. I don't think they could quite do it right now.
Well, Cuz you are really going to have to explain yourself after this.
And BD both just horribly misplay this. BD Emperor's Divide's at a horrible angle, then goes golden, so he can't offer any damage here. At a timing where he needed to kind of kite back and dash away and help his team. Instead, he just dies. Breaks his zone. He'll be back up. Pyoshik gets a GA. I don't think they can take Baron in the interim because their base was in tatters, but I mean, we're looking at Nexus turrets respawning here in 30 seconds, and in a minute and 20, all 3 inhibitors will be back up. And if DNS just win even one fight and they get Elder, or they win the fight on Elder, they win the game. And KT have not been able to prove to me, I think, even one single time that they know how to do Baron from a winning position.
And the gold lead is irrelevant.
Yeah,
because now all of the money is still on aiming, right? But none of it is actually doing anything. He sold a GA to buy a Bloodthirster. It's 6 items for both of our, well, 7 items for both of our AD carries.
Now they're doing the Baron. I mean, let's see how the turn looks.
I mean, I think
it's going to take a while.
Yeah, the rest of KT are just going to play keep away here as Aiming and Cuz will be able to take this one down. I don't think DNS can do anything about this because Closer is in base. And yeah, they're not going to fight.
It's always so scary when, you know, you're taking a Baron like this and trying to rush it, especially with the new Baron health. An enemy has Hextech Soul. If they were able to get there a little bit faster, retreating becomes so difficult. Getting your backs off, it becomes so difficult because of that chain damage. They're going to try to push with this Baron here through the top side of the map right now.
Inhibitors coming back up. There it is. Second one is available.
The Nexus
last one, 18 seconds.
Only have half health on this patch, so
yeah,
they're not very durable. But like KT, can you win a fight in the enemy base? The answer so far this tournament has been no.
Yeah.
KT is the new DNF, and DNS is the new KT killers, I suppose. KT can't get this done. This is actually just so wild.
I still think that they are in a favorable position, given the shambles that DNS
Look at the turrets. 11 turrets to 0, my man. Like they're like DNS.
Wait, they haven't taken a single turret?
Not a single one. They haven't gotten a single one. So why the heck if KT like messed this up? It's going to take DNS a little bit more to actually get back.
I didn't need to look more stupid though. I said this was a decent 1-3-1 competition. They haven't taken a single turret. Ah! All right. Well, KT now looking to try and take a fourth inhibitor,
now,
if you will.
allow me to consider an option for KT. Just don't let them clear waves, play back and defensively, take out their jungle, set up deep vision, and take the Elder and win the game.
That would be a pretty decent move.
I mean, there's an Best on the other side. It's a little scary. But like these team fights in the base, they're not looking so hot.
If KT loses a fight in the enemy base, though, they definitely lose Elder from this timing, right?
Yes.
They'll never be able to get back there. So the Rebel Baron power play is almost at negative money.
Score. I mean, you know, you maybe not able to smite those all the time, so maybe like trying to tell KT like
aiming is like, oh, it's late in the game. Everyone's naturally got way more armor.
But
it should probably buy Lord Dom.
He's so rich that he's been able to change his item build up quite a bit.
He sold GA and Bloodthirster now.
But like, just set up deep vision, KT. You know, play around it, play through it. Think back to your loss against T1. What went wrong there?
They lost their Nexus. That's what went wrong.
Well, they have an Azir who is almost full build, who has Flash and ult. You know, everyone has Flash.
Cuz has been frightening me this game.
Yeah, Cuz is certainly not playing slowly.
No.
All right, use the Baron buff. Set up Prio. No. Go back to the Elder.
Oh, wait. This inhibitor is just dead, though, because aiming gets to hit it 4.
Yeah, no, they get that, but then go back to Elder, back off, set up for Elder, set up for Elder.
So far, looking like the plan is coming together. All right, KT. We are so nervous. Like, so many other times, we'd be like, oh, well, they just go to the Elder and it's fine, and we'd be relaxed and just waiting for the end of the game. I am stressed out of my mind.
The red buff.
Oh, here's the Pop Blossom angle as they get on top of Cuz, but he's not necessarily the priority. As Flash out from Perfect as well. They're looking so worse for wear. True Shot Barrage barely unable to take Cuz down to his GA, and KT will limp their way out.
They cannot do the Elder now. I think it's going to go to DNS.
Oh, my goodness.
Cuz is just too low.
Well, let's see whether KT can get a lead. No, Perfect doesn't have teleport.
Oh, he doesn't. He has to run back. He has the Hex Gates.
But the thing is, if they're fighting this, then aiming can still do so much damage with these rockets.
TP to mid for BDD. Look at BDD's hiding. TP to mid is an angle for him to actually try and win the game.
Yeah, he can just go win the game.
But the wave is being held the next one by Closer.
Oh, Perfect. He's back.
I don't think they can end through mid anymore. It's going to be close. Cuz on the flank.
Oh, this is just an absolute
They have to slow play this. KT have to slow play this if they want to end through mid. And Dudu has gone back, but he has TP. He's going to clear that wave and show back up.
Yeah, BDD is also going back. He's in base right now, maybe building a Void stuff. Let's see whether he teleports back. The answer is no. As there it is, teleport onto the minion.
Oh,
the teleport
TP
Cluzo as well.
He sees the TP
and Cluzo is teleporting in at the same time. It's going to be Elder for Nexus trade. Oh my God, it's Pyoshik that locks down the dragon, but are they just going to lose the game? There's a minion wave here. Stop the back, KT. That's all you can do. As aiming trying to get out of there, and BDD is not going to end.
He cannot end. They couldn't stop all the backs. This game is going for a while, Atlas. I don't think this one's ending right here.
Oh dear, BDD, Empress Divide, but Closer goes golden, and BDD does the same thing, but I think this is going to be the end of the Azir. Dudu cuts him down, and it's gonna happen again.
Wait, hold on. There's actually
a lot of turrets.
The death timers are too long, though, still. I think they might have enough. They have to push through these super minions in the mid lane. Aiming's level 18 here.
And there's also, the inhibitor just died in the bottom lane as well. Aiming, if he can manage to kill, like this, the backdoor bonus.
He has to kill the waves.
Not actually doing anything at all. It's actually kind of crazy how much damage DNS do at this stage of the game.
Cuz has ult when he respawns. He's going to have to pick his target wisely. They need to somehow buy time. I don't think they can.
I don't think they can end.
No, I mean, I don't know. I don't think they can defend. I actually think DNS might have enough. Like
2 seconds on Cuz, 7 seconds on Ghost. Aiming's got rockets. And these minions are just dying. Hexgate to get out.
Man, I thought
God.
They just barely had enough.
We go again.
I thought they just barely had enough, Atlas. My God, this game. Okay, so
Hextech, Soul, and Elder, and now a gold lead for DNS.
we are, by the way, over longest game of the season.
Oh, yeah.
And flank here from Pioshik.
Public execution isn't witnessed.
Elder buff still up here for 45 seconds. KT should be very cautious and try to play around that bottom side prio.
Well, Cuz possibly caught out of position here is, yep, eaten by a dragon, and down he will go. I'm not sure what the play was.
BD's like round 2.
Yeah,
but
BD.
guess what? Dudu's there to answer
They've got
again.
no Nexus turrets. They've got no Nexus turrets.
But Dudu's here to answer again. He's level 20. He's a top laner. TP. They're going to try to 2v1 and end the game, but the backs are already channeled for DNS. They're on their way home.
Well, they have to try and get here as quickly as possible as aiming. If he hits this a couple of times, they are just going to rush the base. Empress Divide to push them away. The Pump Blossom to buy some space. As BDD is going to get eaten by a dragon. Aiming's going to go down, and they throw the game away. Ghost is down as well. There's the ace, and that is going to be it. KT, they just thought they'd throw it all at the Nexus, and unfortunately, that did not help them win the game.
A stinker here from Cuz, to be sure, but the macro decisions from KT continue to boggle the mind. I understand the frustration. They weren't going to get prio on Baron in that scenario, and they thought with Baron that they would maybe lose too much control because it's Elder plus Baron plus Hextech Soul at that moment if it goes over, so they made the Hail Mary a second time, but they just did not read the map at all. And man, this... we're playing against DNS right now, but this game from KT makes DNF's macro last year look credible.
Oh my
Atlas,
God.
damn,
100,000 gold for DNS in the end.
It was impressive that it happened once, but it's twice as impressive that it's gone a second time here for KT, and this time with a composition that should have won almost absolutely in every scenario. They didn't have to give up those dragons. They didn't have to. Hard force. BD went for the gamble. When the TP came through, he saw Closer's TP. It was on vision. And BD was just like, all right, I play this game. You're out of there, so you can't come back. I'm going to get there. But guess who also could see that TP channeling? The Gwen, who's just going to back and deny you from ending the game. The KT, instead of just trying to play around a turn on objectives even one time, Atlas, they gave this one away.
Oh no, Batman wins again. Unfortunately, Bane Ming just wasn't quite enough. Doc Darm doing 60,000 damage in that game. And it's like what I was talking about before. This was the KT bottom lane. In the end, the Ezreal did a bunch of work. And yeah, the graph is absurd. Once, like, KT have the 2 largest gold leads in losing games by a massive margin already, and we're not even at the end of the LCK Cup for 2026. Oh, this roller coaster is just looking completely Final Destination. And now it is time for us to take a short break. When we come back, the Space will have the joy, nay, the privilege of breaking down that masterpiece of a game. And then you and I will have to trudge our way through game number 2. We'll see you soon.
가져. 아, 못 맞췄다.
나 없어 얘들아. 나 없어.
바로 가야 돼. 바로 가자. 바로 가자. 바로.
이거 우리가 장로라서 얘네가 급해.
바이 얘네가 급해봐. 바이 바이.
잡았어.
야, 백도 생각해야 돼. 한 명씩 가.
내가 집을 막을게 그냥. 내가 집을 막을게.
아직은 노텔이잖아. 아직 노텔이지.
아, 때려. 한 명씩 가고.
이거 얘네 지르는 거 생각해야 돼.
괜찮을 듯. 내가 공 포지션 할게.
야, 이거 한 명은 더 가야 돼. 한 명은 더 가야 돼.
나 아직 갈게.
지른다.
갈게.
막을만해? 막을만하면 그냥
맞아.
와줘야 돼. 한 명 더 와야 돼. 한 명
도와줘. 나도 이거 그냥 집 갈게.
집 가자.
다 와줘.
때리면서.
레넥부터 칠게 레넥.
야 이거 코르키 못 봐. 코르키 해야 돼. 코르키.
잡았어.
남이.
남이. 내가 끝내자.
야.
All the scenarios we had laid out today, you know, almost no one said the series was going to be a 2-0 either way, but I think not even one person said DNS 2-0, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's all 2-1s, I'm pretty sure.
Like, this scenario where KT lose like that makes me wonder if maybe this is going to be a 2-0, because momentum-wise, you have negative 10,000, and DNS have the giga momentum of like, wow, we held that off. We were able to pull this through and clean up and win the game. All of that aside, you got to go back on stage in front of a full arena here. You got to play game 2. And right now, first pick goes to KT Rolster. They'll ban the Malphite, the Orianna on their side. And we'll once again see the Jace, Rumble, Varus, you have to imagine here for DNS.
Yep, I imagine that is going to be the way, as the Jace last is an interesting choice. Maybe that means that the DN Supers have an idea of potentially leaving it up. We'll just have to see. With the fact that it's Fearless, we're not going to have the same sort of game state as BDD. Unfortunately, looking a little bit rough on his Azir so far this LCK Cup. I don't know whether he's picked up that many victories on this champion when it is one of his most famous picks.
Yeah, do I dare say it? No, I won't say it.
Oh God, am I gonna like? I'm looking it up right now.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say anything.
0%. That's not looking great. As Jace is left up, Aphelios and the Cassiopeia. What did I miss while I was looking up those Azir stats?
Jace is a flex pick, and we have seen one of Perfect's most famous games, a win against Gen.G on it. But it is likely to be piloted by Cuz. I have said it before, but it has very rarely been relevant because it's been banned almost every game. I think the Jace right now in the jungle is a very risky pick. It's just not very sturdy. I mean, it's incredible in terms of impacting lanes early, and for objective fights it can be quite powerful, but when you get to later fights, you're just a paperweight sometimes. As DNS also then get the Giga Strong Rise Yunara rotation here.
I really want Jinx Lulu. Because then, when you to the skies in on the Jace, you become a bit more durable and you have a bit more CC. However,
Pantheon Taliyah, or Taliyah, leave it a flex pick.
I wouldn't mind Pantheon Taliyah, actually. That'd be kind of cute.
Jace is pretty blindable in the top lane, you know? Okay, well, we're just going to remove all mystery, as Perfect is like, oh, I thought I was playing Jace. You see his face? He's like, they promised me I might get to play it.
Wait, but jungle is still up, so they can just pick Trundle. And that feels pretty good. Because you're into a Taliyah, Trundle doesn't have a lot of dashes.
He doesn't really care about the Jace too much.
Troll King.
That's
yeah, you have so much sustain. I actually think that it could be a little bit of a rough one if the Trundle does come on through. But it does mean that you then sacrifice the Lulu, which is obviously what they want to be picking up on this rotation. So maybe thinking about it.
Or
instead it's Lee Sin.
Lee Sin for fun.
Yeah! Let's pick a billion different dashes when there's a Taliyah.
I am playing comfort. I saw how game 1 went.
And honestly, Pyoshik out-jungled Cuz in a pretty big way in game number 1.
He certainly did.
I think he deserves to have his fun game.
It's also very sticky, again on top of a Jace, as the Braum will be taken away, kind of leading into, I'm not going to allow a Lucian Braum lane.
Yep.
Here on the bottom side into my Yunara. Lulu, 100% got to be banned here.
Oh, 100%, yep. That needs to leave.
I don't
Lulu,
see,
Bard, maybe those are going to be the bans.
You don't have pick priority, so you can't pick it away. You just have to take it away. Zahin.
Oh my goodness. Wait a second. So, does KT have a different plan? Because I was expecting Bard Lulu as the definite ban rotation, but not wanting to do that, just going to try and protect this top lane as much as they can.
The Bard, I think, is fairly, you know, it's manageable. The Lulu, I just don't think is. As we'll take away the Nautilus to prevent any more of the single target blow up here.
All right.
And in terms of engage, they currently have a seismic shove.
I mean, they have an unstoppable onslaught.
Kind of, yeah. And, you know, the hammer knockback, you know, in second.
There's the Lulu ban.
Thankfully, they do make the right choice.
I think that could have been Very
been catastrophic, potentially, there on the bottom side. Bard is still strong, but I think for KT, manageable here in this situation. They can also, believe it or not, go Alistar here, and I think it's okay. They need a little bit more frontline. This Rek'Sai can shore that up as well.
And counterpick for Peter there as well to make sure that they can shore up this bottom lane as best they can. I think that's really, really smart.
And now if you go for a melee pick here to look for more engage as KT, they can go for the Alistar. If you go for a ranged pick, they opt into something else that's a little bit safer. Like the Bard, for example, that you mentioned. So could be, it feels really strong here for DNS. Oh, Tristana. No way they actually go for the Jinx after not doing it earlier.
Oh, a bit of a fun Caitlyn kill lane could be on the cards here. As Aiming locks it in.
Maybe?
Yeah, Caitlyn Lux, one of the oldies.
Could also be strong. It helps set up for the pick comp. Like, either of them work really well. They'll just take the Bard away. And now Alistar feels unplayable here for Peter.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that.
So now what is he going to go for here? Is he going to go for some sort of like marksman support, or does he have a plan to run something like a Karma?
Yunara Renata? No, that doesn't sound very good.
This is a very uncomfortable position to be in as Peter. The Caitlyn pick, I think, kind of catching them off guard.
Well, Rel is feeling very similar to an Alistar at this point in time.
Yeah, really going to be quite a tough early lane to pilot.
And there is no range at all on DNS as well. So they need Pioshik to find aiming with a Q. Otherwise, I mean, he just nets out of any sort of engage here from Peter. It's just going to be really tough to kill this Caitlyn.
I kind of do think that if they could survive the laning phase, though, DN Supers, their comp does big damage later. The Scion is going to disappear, and there is not any other front line. The Jace doesn't offer a ton of utility in this comp here at all. And the Bard ultimate sets up really only the Talia shove. And otherwise, there isn't a ton of follow-up there. This draft for KT is wonky, but it does a lot of stuff in the early game, and it wins lane and the bottom lane super hard. They're going to have to play through that, empower their bottom lane, where if we see just another lackluster performance from Ghost in this lane that's supposed to be one where they end up losing it somehow to this Rel lane, then I think we see a 2-0 here, Atlas. Like, you've got to get a lead here. You have to play through that. You drafted for it, and there are consequences if you fall behind.
Oh, 100%. And there's also a lot of poke power here for KT as well. So if they lose dragons, things are going to be problematic on that front at the same time. I feel like there's a bit of a draft gap, but honestly, I felt that in game number 1 as well, and look at where we are. Let's get into the rift for game 2.
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
All right, not able to kill the ward. As fans going crazy as Pioshik is almost dead. Does just have to use a ward, which is a resource, you know, loses a little bit of something. This lane is going to be so hard for the DN Supers.
Also means Pioshik get to start his safeguard as well, which is not ideal.
We're going to put that in the cons column as well. As at least Dudu is going to have a really good time.
I love bad level 1s in range where Peter's just like, I have a shield. Please don't touch me.
Yeah. Well, this, it doesn't get better.
Shoot the shield. Please don't shoot my AD carry.
They just need to hope that aiming misses as much CS as possible. Unless they all in, as he flashes already. Aftershock now down, though, as Peter taking a lot of damage back. The electrocute from Ghost doing so much work as the crash down. The re-engage. Aiming is able to at least stay alive to help with that kill, but Doctor versus Ghost. I like this one for the Yunara and DNS. They figured it out, just all in.
Yeah, you cannot actually go into the range of the Rel when you're playing the Caitlyn and range support setup here.
Oh,
so
no.
You know,
wait, did you cast a curse this as well?
I mean, I did kind of say if they lose it, it's like really bad and like it shouldn't happen, and it probably won't happen. You got to play through that bottom lane. But they may have just lost the game.
They may have. Well, Aiming going to get slurkled. And Doctorm still here, wants to get this crash, and will be able to do so. And so First Blood and the trade back. The First Blood did go over to KT. So theoretically, gold advantage there, but the kill goes over to the Yunara, and the kill on KT side goes to the Brad. Let's check it out one more time.
Flash grab here on the Aiming. He ends up getting burnt. Peter has no aftershock. So the first kill goes over here. And aiming is dead though, so it's a trade of support for AD carry. So yeah, you got the first blood gold, but you lost your AD carry. The enemy AD carry is still farming and has an experience lead and is able to get it back here with a longsword and call.
Yeah, and so Ghost has a higher lead over Peter than Dokdom does over aiming, but the money on the supports just really doesn't mean that much.
Really doesn't. And Peter is, I was going to say, in this lane was going to be a paperweight, but now he has weighted aiming down, in fact. Aiming turned into paper, actually, so I guess it works out.
Look at that, Shock Blast gank on the wave. As Pyoshik moves over, this ward is going to be swept. Should be Rift Scuttle taken here by the Lee Sin. Chase doing the same thing towards the top side, Cuz getting through that jungle pretty quick. And everything goes quiet once more on Summoner's Rift.
Pyoshik, I don't think wants to set up a dive or anything crazy down here on the bottom side, but it's definitely a lot more agency here for DNS. Because Peter is not able to quite get into range there with his Hex Flash.
Yeah, Ghost just going to keep meep slapping and electrocuting the Rel as often as he can. But that is Closer taking a turret shot that he very much did not want to take. BDD doesn't have any mana though, and he misses a cannon. So we're going to say that it's negatives on both sides. No flash available for aiming, and he's just going to get all in. Again, Dokdom takes his second!
I think this is just too
KT, they
much.
really missed their bottom lane, dude.
I think this is too much. I have been criticized in my early League of Legends casting years for calling games early, but this is too much. Like, this is an 800 gold lead nearly here as that play goes
and
over.
the whole wave is just gone.
It's gone. It's a 15 CS advantage.
빼는 척 할게.
And it's just like good coordination here. Peter with the Hex Flash closes the gap. Dokdom already trusting they're going to be able to get this.
Gorgeous. Slurkle slows him up.
This is the ranged Bard lane.
Yeah.
You had counter pick.
And obviously, like, Caitlyn doesn't have that much to offer back, but you're supposed to stay at range, right? You're supposed to try and just get pot shots. Not the all-in is never the thing that you can do, but DNS have been really, really good at forcing the all-in. And if you can do that, then the engage lane works. Man, Peter just reading the matchup, playing it well.
You're not supposed to get a touching distance. They have done it twice now. And Pyoshik is going to be able to safeguard, again, high value.
Yep, as Dudu gets the knockup, uses the flash, and Perfect going to flash out of the way. No mana to speak of, as both of our top laners just teleporting back to lane a little while ago. As now Pyoshik just giving some gold over to Cuz for that first strike.
Now, Jace jungle does incredibly well with Prio. If your bottom lane is in tatters, it's a little bit tricky to play this out actually now as Jace because you don't really have good CC. And I mean, aiming wishes he was playing League of Legends.
Yeah, unfortunately not really able to. Dokdom takes a little bit of damage from that Shock Blast. It's a little bit annoying, but not really going to be too consequential as Dudu pushes this whole wave forward. Unstoppable onslaught here from Perfect. Might get interrupted here by Dudu on purpose, which would be pretty funny, because then he wouldn't be able to get the minions underneath the turret. But it does not actually happen that way. Shock Blast going to go wide. As Pyoshik on the crab.
I think they're trying to bait a fight. They're like, you guys want to fight this?
I don't think KT should want to fight this.
I think want their
is a little bigger than aiming.
They want their scuttle, but they just have to give it up. You have to say, all right, yep, the bottom lane's in tatters, and our Jace doesn't have Prio, and so therefore, not going to do so. Pyoshik gets level 6, by the way. Level 6 not there for Cuz, but also doesn't matter. And Pyoshik actually has a real ultimate ability, and so continuing to try to scrap for this, I think, would be unwise for Cuz. I think your best bet is to try to look for an empowered Shock Blast steal, and even Peter's going to walk up and say no. He cannot
the bottom lane priority is just too much. KT do have control in mid, but they have no semblance of it towards this bottom side. So DNS going to be able to use that to grab themselves this first Drake. Next one going to be a Chemtech. So some big, powerful dragons.
We talked about the Yunara lead for Geo in game 1 of our previous series today. Was gifted kills, right? WinCon out the window, a lot of issues there, but in this game, it's just turned the bottom lane for KT into a peg leg. It's, like Dokdom has a lead, but this Caitlyn that really is strongest before she hits her trough in the early laning phase, and the dominance you pick this pick for is now just kind of handicapped, unfortunately, and let's see what BDD can get done. You know, we had that cool shove earlier. Sion maybe 13 CS behind, getting proxied, but maybe, you know, he's just signed, he'll be fine. Maybe the Jace, that pick is super broken, right? That's why it's banned every time. Maybe it's just strong enough to get over the line here for KT.
I like the clutching at straws that you're doing, but right now it is feeling a little bit worrisome. Rest of the map, kind of okay, like you were saying. So I'd say early days, doesn't feel like it. Feels like DNS already off to
early days, yeah,
exactly
that's
the
when
start
Caitlyn saw
that
1,000 gold up, right?
Oh dear. Oh, Perfect now having to fight against Dudu, who is feeling better and better in this lane. Soon just going to be taking 0 damage forever, and does secure the cannon quite nicely. It's Perfect just wants to be that big old tanky front line. And looking at his tab screen, he's just feeling a little bit worried about what that might look like.
I would say so.
Oh dear.
Now, in terms of things that inspire confidence,
We're looking for some of those.
Taliyah, Jace as a duo, not so much, but Taliyah, Weaver's Wall, stalling out objectives, playing through some shock blasts, and looking for an all-in onto perhaps a greedy Yunara. There's some wiggle room, right? KT have a draft that has a decent amount of burst. They even have the aiming ultimate, right, to follow up on some of these scraps. If Cuz chips somebody down super low, then and they're isolated and no one can block for them aiming ults, and that target is out of the fight. They probably won't die, right, but they'll potentially be out of the fight. There's some things you can do. They have tools. Wow. And, you know, here...
That's going to try and lock down Doctorm, but it does not work, as the turret going to lose a plate. Closer with Realm Warp available. Thought he might be looking towards that bottom side. The Arc of Ruin flying on forward there from Doctorm.
So Caitlyn doing a little bit of Caitlyn things just for a moment.
Yep, and at least they do get Doctorm's ult out, so that's going to be down for just a little bit. Not too long though. Cooldown is relatively short. But teleport back here from Perfect. Be able to get back towards this lane, and his Balmy Cinder and his Bramble Vest going to be doing a decent job clearing this.
I am very scared for what this first dragon fight, like, or really it's second dragon fight, right? But the first dragon fight that KT could potentially look for is going to look like, whether it's this dragon, right, where it's really tough because Yunara is pretty ahead, or if they don't fight and they give 2 dragons with Ocean and Chemtech not in the soul pool. So that is...
Yeah.
It's very awkward for KT to make the decision to let it go, but to fight for it may just cost them their tournament life.
Dudu just taking some tunnels to get himself out of there. Preyseeker connects on to Perfect, as once again, shoved back is Closer. We will be checking out Caitlyn going back home. Berserker's Greaves now complete. But man, looking real worse for wear here in this bottom lane. And that cull, only 12 stacks left to go for Doctorm. He is very happy with the game state. And Perfect, not so much. The Rek'Sai doing what she's supposed to do.
I like it when they put this graphic up and it doesn't show the gold leads. You're like, ooh, it could be a close game.
Now you have to calculate it for yourself.
No, I mean, not even the one at the top. For lane by lane, you're like, his CS number's not that different.
Yeah. I don't know where this gold lead came from.
Yeah, it does
and
show a
only
little
600.
Small bounty there in the bottom lane, but...
All right, Ghost just going to get the flash out of Doctorm. Not bad. Lands the Cosmic Binding as well, gets the barrier.
Weaver's Wall at the ready for BDD if Doctorm wanted to try to bait, or he gets baited in, but like he's 1v2, so I don't know why he ever would.
Yeah, Cuz moving over here as well. They do manage to sweep out this ward. And Piochik walks over Vision himself as BDD clears out the wave, and Cuz knows what's going on. At least Piochik does have control vision down there. There's more money. Just a cheeky little extra 5 gold. Yeah, I think there's a fair bit of going on, because I don't know whether DNS are going to be able to use this in order to follow it through for a victory. And I also don't know how KT are going to be feeling after things went this abominably bad in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, they're just trying to stabilize, stem the bleeding here. Sion ulting back to top lane, losing more plates, losing his ultimate, not able to join this fight.
At least KT do know that this dragon's going on.
Weaver's Wall, how does it work for them in this case? Like, are they going to try to zone the Rise out who can ult over it? Or are they going to try to cut off the bottom duo? Shock Blast isn't going to do much for them.
Well, Piochik is somewhat separated at the moment. Seismic Shove does pull him back, and he's on the rocks. He eats a lot of them as flashes out for both the jungle and mid of KT. That is the Drake secured, as now Cuz moving himself back, and KT, I don't think they're going to be... Oh, aiming. Has to flash again as the Realm Warp brings the DN Supers forward. BDD in a bit of trouble here as there is the Prey Seeker, and Dudu with the Void Rush is able to take him down. Yeah, just separated and destroyed. Perfect is trying to get some work done towards his top side, but KT, they're falling apart.
They certainly are. That fight, initially it looks like, okay, did they really need to flash the Lee Sin engage? And the truth is, because Pyosik had flash, kind of yes, if they get insect in, they will just die there. Whoever gets insect into the waiting maw of DNS is
okay, here's
double.
another Tempered Fate. As they do find the Cosmic Binding. Doctom taking a lot of damage there as Peter goes in, gets that big old shield, and aiming, doing his very best to take him down. There's the magical journey. Down goes the Rel, and aiming still alive. I kind of thought that maybe there was aiming was going to die there, and then we'd just see him walk out of the Chijijik Low Park. But doesn't happen, and Ghost is going to chase Doctom down.
I thought Doctom was going to arc him. Obviously I wasn't tracking the cooldown, but I was very scared that aiming somehow was going to get blown up there. Had the barrier, and so they make something happen here. Believe it or not, and it's only now a 300 gold lead. And
Collector is done.
Collector's done. That's the beginning, as we'll go back and watch this here. They tried to split, a little bit slow on this. Target selection is the Unara, which is correct. If they try to go for Peter here, I think this is a completely different scenario. Pushing Doctom back, then they go over the wall here. Peter, very low. Aiming drops his barrier because he's leaving nothing to chance.
Yeah, and I think he needed to. You got to make sure that you pay as much respect as possible. As the KT fans daring to hope, daring to dream. As we have a look back, DNS with a slight gold advantage. But Doctom's lead has certainly gone down, especially considering the fact that he has completed his cull already. So with plate gold and things like that, aiming feeling pretty good.
That's traction.
Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a wet noodle fight that will continue for a very long time.
I'm going to test your reflexes. Perfect presses Q. He's like, oh, I will play it.
There you go. Checkmate.
If you were just a little slower.
Oh dear.
Well,
I feel like the closer this game is, the more anxiety I'm filled with.
No, exactly. Before it was like, well, I guess, you know, we'll just remember this last game of the series is kind of they had the wind out of their sails after game one, some errors in the bottom lane. I guess it's done, but they get you hopeful that maybe this is a 3-game series, and then you're like, oh, I've been hopeful before. I mean, just for me as a commentator who predicted this as a 2-1. I want to see 3 here. I want to see KT bounce back. Nobody wants to see a team get obliterated in game 2 like this after losing game 1 in such a way. But this Jace pick just really isn't hit right for me. And, you know, the bottom lane disaster, we've talked about it enough, as that Shock Blast is also going to miss. They're going to look for an all-in here on this Herald, I suppose, with this TP, but they're too slow.
Oh, God, yeah. Perfect makes his way in, but he does have a huge shield after he gets here amongst 4 people.
But they can't do anything.
Rift Herald taken down. It's a great shove onto Pyosik, but that's perfect, taking a lot of damage. Forced to flash to get out of the way as Pyosik gets ulted here by the Scion, and aiming, having to deal with Dudu, who is just refusing to take damage. Seismic Shove doesn't do too much as Pyosik crashes Shelly into this outer turret, and Peter is looking to get out of there with the crash down. KT will give up the Herald, and Doctom able to dash his way out, but does have to use the ulti to do so.
I think worth it to use the ultimate there. He didn't need it for the fight, because there just wasn't really a fight.
Flash out from Ghost, man. That was a little bit frightening. I think there was a snap trap in the way, so he didn't really need to. Unless, no, Dudu had flash, so
Dudu had flash.
Could have been flash knocked up.
In this situation too, you just don't want to leave anything to chance, I suppose, as the low health or the not tanky squishy bard.
Big agree.
Is in a position to where you already lost the 2v2 bottom, and you really just want to give over any money. Just trying to play safe, try to hang on, try to get your mental back on straight. As it has certainly gone boom, I think.
Oh yeah.
And 45 seconds till another Hextech soul, by the way. They gave 2 dragons, and I was like, oh, it's going to be a high roll, right? Chemtech and Ocean are off the cards. We got Hextech again. Imagine just the double Hextech here to win the series and to move on and play here for DNS. Could be, we might not have to imagine it. We might actually witness it before our very eyes here as Dragon spawns in 25 seconds. Prio, still a bit ambiguous here. Doctom having control of the mid lane. And this Rise pushing here in the bottom lane means that it's going to be KT trying to wrestle it away. Perfect did use TP, Dudu did not, so they have an man advantage. I think this is just going to go over unless KT can make something happen before it spawns. It's up now. I mean, what are you going to do?
Well, let's hope that they try and fight for it, because I think giving this one up is going to be problematic. As KT moving forward, they have to get it. Like, you can't give away Hextech Soul this early. It's just insane.
It's a 5v4 no matter what. Like, Perfect can't get here. He just will not be able to.
He does have ult, so he can sort of just, like, you know, wave race down the river.
He's standing to position for that, as you say it. But he doesn't want to waste his ultimate because he doesn't know where Dudu is. Dudu's missing on the map, so he kind of has to slowly walk down as Pyosik starts this up slowly and Peter gets positioned on the banana brush where they have control vision.
Yeah, and KT, they really, okay, Tempered Fate goes wide. The train is rolling in as Peter kind of throws his ultimate away, doesn't find an angle for it, is now perfect in that front line, but it is Soul Point over to DNS. Pyosik playing the series of his life. Well, not his life, because that happened in 2022, but definitely of the year. As that Realm Warp is a Realm Warp of all time, 100%. His closer is now going to get punished for it.
Looks like they'll be fine, but yeah, I wouldn't have taken that direction myself. I probably would have just gone back towards the Hex Gate, but they want to defend this mid turret. They clear out the wave. Dudu might have been able to do that on his own.
Oh man, KT, I mean, you can't give up that dragon.
I know, but they can't get anything going in this game. They just really cannot. And it feels so bad to give it up, but they couldn't find the fight angle. And when they were trying to push to the left side of the dragon pit, you could see how much damage Duckdom was able to put in to the Scion even already this early in the game. Bracken Kraken Slayer non-stop. He's looking for his second item here fairly soon, if not right now. I mean, we watch this one more time. Pyosik starts the dragon up. Duckdom can walk forward, and he once again dashes the Bard ultimate. Still has flash, still has barrier. Perfect gets shoved back in. And the contest here on the dragon, it's a 50-50.
Oh no, early smite.
Early smite. And then the Caitlyn traps, they just play around them. They're just like, we don't need to win this fight. We just got Hextech Soul Point. We don't need a Realm Warp that direction either, but that's another topic for another day. They wanted to defend the turret, which it worked out. Like, they could have just not gone into the pit, but they get there, they defend the turret.
And now the gold advantage is actually all Dudu. As Duckdom and Aiming are basically even. Obviously, doesn't mean that much, as these two items that Duckdom does have is a big spike for the Yunara.
And how much money, like, what would you put the price of an Hextech Soul, especially a 4-0 Hextech Soul on? Like, gold here,
I mean,
maybe
a
large, but
large amount.
Ghost. So, I mean, some things just can't be calculated in gold. They're that valuable.
Indeed. Although there probably is representative gold value, as Pyosik on a little bit of a flank angle. This turret looking very worse for wear.
And the closer also here. KT, I think, very wise to this suddenly, like, wait a minute. That ward is hit.
This is sneaky. Aiming. Ooh, he was thinking about it, as Peter is going to tank that ace in the hole, but probably didn't want to in the end. Peacemaker comes on down.
He is still fairly vulnerable. This turret isn't going to last very long. It's got Crystalline on it. Pyosik's going to make this happen, I think, Atlas.
He is a very patient man. Gets the kickback, picked up by the Magnet Storm, and down goes Aiming once again.
What a sick play. And they know that with the Crystalline Overgrowth there, they just instantly kill him. There is no backup. Like, there's no way. I think Aiming, when he went for that ult, he was like, okay, nobody jumped out of the brush there. I'm probably fine. They would have got me while I was channeling. Duckdom dashes
every time.
Again, he dashes it.
Every ult he has available is just used to dodge out of the way of a Tempered Fate. And honestly, I mean, it's kind of okay if you start fights earlier, but Aiming is dead, and Duckdom just has to wait a little while for that ultimate to be back up. Does have his Infinity Edge on the way.
We're starting to be able to have that conversation about the Baron, you know, here for DNS, as this play is just so clean. Ward hopping in, looking for the kick. There's no turret. Cuz cannot do anything, as he's a Jace. I mean, I think if he was any other champion, he probably would have died anyways, but he especially can't do anything but send a Shock Blast and say, sorry, man, that's all I got.
Well, there's actually a really fun outcome, right? If DNS does manage to win this game, I want to go into that theoretical world.
Yes, the D+ selection?
Yes, the D+ selection is very, very fun, because what it might mean is that they select DNS, and then we get the DRX versus Nongshim rematch.
Ooh.
That would be very, very fun. And then we could have, you know, a DNS versus DRX.
I don't like that rematch. That's too much for me. Like that one's really difficult to call and difficult to wrap my head around.
That's what makes it fun.
I'm ready for the D+ tragedy, you know?
I mean, that
D+
is...
lose to DNS, that could happen, though. I mean,
certainly could, especially if DNS keep playing well. Pyosik feeling like he's just imagining himself in New York once again, you know? That's what it feels like. That's all right, KT bearing down on this bottom lane. Peter clearing out vision.
Zuckdom has got this wave controlled. We're 45 seconds away from this dragon. KT want to do an early setup, but it's way too early, and they're losing minions. They're bleeding out super fast. Like, the gold lead has been minuscule across the map this entire game, but if you're a League of Legends connoisseur, you know that the next big step here is this dragon, and KT have never been able to control the map, never really able to win a scrap, so you just don't... It feels like the gold lead is 6,000 here for me, for DNS.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like their win cons are so much higher here. KT have one last desperate fight. If they mess this up, by the way, they've messed up everyone so far, then that's the game, right? That's Hextech Soul. So...
Oh, aiming. Dudu is now lurking in the Pyosik position. It looks like aiming is just going to walk his way out. The only place he knows there is safety, as the dragon has now spawned. Closer to the southern side of this, as you've got Peter looking for a little bit of a reset. And vision now down on the Drake. Started up, but Pyosik's in the area, and his smite button has been so good. Peter's back in base.
Yeah, that's a big opportunity for KT. Late TP.
Big flanking teleport angle, though, for Dudu. If he can get in here, that is going to be Cuz denying the soul. And now Dudu's possibly fighting a triple knock-up. Gigantic here, but he's taken out. Pyosik's going to go down, and the Magnet Storm collects them all. Dokdom to pick up a double, as Peter will get knocked into the sky, but the fight is already over. 2 on the floor here for KT.
That's Baron.
Oh my goodness, don't tell me they can actually just walk over and take it. That's a very young Baron Wolf.
Jesus. What's that? It was like, hey, I got it. Cuz it's like, I got it. And then promptly,
oh no,
Rek'Sai engage.
Now they can't quite get to the Baron. Yes, they can. Cuz is dead, Pyosik is dead. Peter, Perfect, sorry, is walking up, does have to just drive that train out.
He kind of tricked him, like they got off the Baron.
They did?
They could have just ignored him.
And they are just going to go for the reset, so it does deny the Baron, and this does deny the
Look
stall.
at how close this is to a 50-50, by the way.
Oh, yeah. It was actually the fact that Cuz did the hammer boot back onto Pyosik, but this, man, oh my lord.
And then Peter is like...
Hex skating over.
Again. Oh! And it was already over, by the way. It didn't even need that to happen.
But it looked so
cinematic
good.
As hell, yeah.
It looked so good.
Peter was like, you give me one champion with a circle on it that hits multiple people, I get it done every time.
Oh, yeah. And that also confirms his 100% kill contribution, which is very, very important. Almost 100% death contribution as well, which would have been very impressive. Going to be seeing that bottom lane outer turret falling down. The lead is extending here for DNS to the tune of about 3,000.
Who is Palm?
Oh, God, Wolf. I have no idea. Yeah, no. I don't need to know. I don't need to know because I don't have a vote.
Well, I started to remember that suddenly I actually have to both vote for one and then justify it with a comment later.
Oh no, not the comment.
It's contractually obligated to do so.
Yeah, no, it is actually in his contract, everyone. As Perfect is not going to get his blue buff. Pyosik lying in wait. He's spent a lot of time standing in bush.
How long until the Caitlyn trough gets climbed out of? Aiming just keeps trying to get foothold.
Yeah.
You know that guy that recently climbed the Taipei building?
No, he's like the silverfish in the bottom of your bath that's trying to climb out and just can't really do it, you know?
That guy climbed the Taipei building recently. I forget his name, Alex something, right? Like he said sick at the top. I think that's what Aiming will say if he climbs out of an equally large trough that he's in this game.
Yes, I would agree.
He's an item down. He's working on that third item. He's getting closer, little by little. The Baron is still live, and DNS have not been able to start it just yet, but now that those ultimates back online, I think they certainly can. And the Dragon spawning in 2 minutes time. That's again Hextech Soul, so DNS can try to threaten a turn on Baron here. They will need to, sell the Baron, I think, a little bit harder than they are right now.
Yeah, we're checking out Perfect and Dudu on this angle here as well. No teleports available for either of our top lanes, but getting closer as level 16's hit for PDD and Perfect.
And when a Ryze and a Yunara are showing on waves, I think KT are pretty sure you're not doing the Baron. Pyoshik's like, aha, joke's on you. Now the Yunara is not showing, so KT will come over here and look for a contest. Perfect does have teleport. This may be the last moment in this game here.
And the thing that's
DNS
really,
just walk away.
the thing that's really important here as well is the DNS have Tremor Sense. So Dudu is so important for spotting out KT, trying to get flank angles, wrapping around things like this. And it can be really, really hard to catch them by surprise. They have access to that. So Dr. Arm getting stronger and stronger. Has another quiver. I think aiming is going to be relatively close, I guess, to Infinity Edge. You might have it on this back.
He doesn't have his flash, but he has...
There it is.
His support has Knight's Vow and the Locket, so it's very difficult to kill him.
All right, well, there are turrets left on the map.
Yeah,
KT.
true. It's looking better for KT right now than it looked for DNS in the previous game.
True.
30 seconds till this dragon spawns. DNS want to just get Hextech Soul work for them in game 1. This time they have a lead, and it might work for them in game 2 as well. TP in from the Rek'Sai. I don't think they're going to get that same wombo combo they got last time, but this time they have Prio, and so if Pyoshik's smite button hits...
They might just get the dragon, you know?
Yeah,
that might just be it.
That could be it.
There are 3 items and a Serrated Dirk here on Cuz. He does do a lot of damage with this full lethality build.
If he hits.
Yeah. Oh, Wolf, come on, man. He did not.
That's
oh
Chase,
no,
baby.
they also did double control ward. They are
Dragon's
completely
being
out
taken,
of
by the
sync.
way.
Yeah. KT, you need to get over there and try and take this one down as closer. Down to 50%. As can Cuz actually get in there? The Magnet Storm is fantastic from Peter as Dudu gets into the backline, and there's the Hextech Soul! They're on top of aiming, and I don't even think they needed the ulti out of Dudu to take him down, but they're going to do so anyway, as Ghost is also dead, Cuz dies at the same time, and BDD offers himself up as tribute to the DNS War Machine, who are now just realm warping towards the enemy base. Is it just going to be the DNS 2-0, and what did and Umpty know that everyone else didn't?
Well, with this an ex-support player. Peter is an ex-KT player, and he and Duckdom are looking to end this one and get revenge.
Yeah, perfect. Just going to be taken down. The zombie version I don't think is going to be enough to deal with these minions, as the Nexus turret will be falling. There are some respawns coming on in here, but I don't think it's going to be enough. And yeah, free hitting is Dr. He takes down the Nexus, and DNS will eliminate KT in 2-0 fashion.
A very, very big win here for DNS. Hard to call it a one-sided series with what happened in game 1.
I'm going to call it a one-sided series.
But with the crowd going nuts and chanting DNS here, it feels like a turning of the tide for this org that struggled so much throughout last year. They picked up the KT bottom lane, and things really haven't looked better for this team in a long time since they lost Cuz to the other side on KT as well. A lot of storylines kind of melding together here between these two organizations right now. And man, Atlas, I wouldn't want to be a KT fan right now.
Oh, yeah. Let's focus on your comment. What's it going to be? Where did the vote go? That's a
keeping it
question.
a secret.
Ooh, he's keeping the cards close to his chest.
But I will be mentally thinking of a comment to then reveal to G-Sun that I type in a private text message to put it up on the space later.
Oh, okay.
KT will bow one last time. I said I wasn't going to say earlier, but this is giving me serious Nongshim 2022 vibes, Atlas.
Yeah.
BDD goes back on the same lineup. Disappointing performance, not living up to the sum of their parts. Pyoshik taking games off of him, giving it a thumbs down.
My goodness. And also, seeing the Talia and then says, give me my Lee Sin. We've got this. As Dr. Phenomenal performance. I mean, this was bottom gap by like one of the largest of margins. And it's 2 series in a row that Ghost and aiming or Polo and aiming, whichever one you throw out, has just not been able to stand up to the competition. And that was this bottom lane of the ex-KT bottom lane that obviously made it very, very far at Worlds, but weren't necessarily the greatest here in the LCK, and the Nongshim bottom lane. I mean, KT just not really being able to get it together in the laning phase is problematic.
mean, even watching moments like this where it should be a freebie, they have such a deficit that it actually feels almost playable here for DNS. It's just so insane. KT had problems in their bottom lane, but even beyond that, I think one of the biggest issues is their lack of ability to control objectives on the map. And even with like titanic, monumental gold leads, they're unable to do it. And that is something they're going to have to spend this long offseason now between LCK Cup and LCK proper figuring out, because it is certainly not there right now. There's going to be a lot of teams looking to scrim and practice. I'm sure they'll have some opportunities, but man, they missed this bottom duo, as you said, right now.
밀어주고 여기 아래 자리 잡게.
And also,
나 위치 좋아.
it might be actually the year of Dudu, because Dudu having a fantastic series. I think the Rek'Sai was obscenely good here in this game number 2, but his Gwen was also fantastic, especially for the intelligent positioning later on in the game, denying the backdoor attempt, as we have a listen to DNS as they just wiped the floor with KT in this fight.
바로 가자.
And KT also got out macroed throughout this entire game as well, and just some really bizarre moves being made. And DNS just finding all the angles. Dudu doing so much damage in this game, my god. On a Rek'Sai, I guess he was just hitting perfect over and over again, but still, pretty impressive. And then we will get the palm, and I just have no idea.
This is the kind of series where it's the same sort of vibe with me when KT lost to T1, where even T1 fans also kind of felt this immense feeling of like, we overcame KT, but also you can't help but feel bad. Like, I think there's no way Faker didn't feel bad, you know? It's like, wow, what a loss. This was my second choice. I'm still gonna keep mine a secret, but I almost voted for him. He had an incredible series. His Yunara popping off in Game 2, but in Game 1, keeping it cool when it mattered most across an insane deficit.
I thought Peter was probably worth a shout there as well, but Doc is just having a brilliant performance here today, and I think the bottom lane really was the highlight here for DNS. They put KT to task, and they were not up to it, unfortunately. So as far as our swappable supports are concerned, Peter certainly reigning supreme this time around. Obviously, we didn't see Polu today. Ghost stayed in for both games. But yeah, KT fans probably starting to worry, but they've got a lot of time now to try and figure it all out and get things sorted, as DNS moving further forward, and they now have an extra life. So they're going to be facing off against the loser of whichever other team is going to lose in the next round. As of course, Nongshim and DK get to choose between DNS and DRX, whichever D acronym they would like to go with. And,
who would you choose?
Yeah, I don't really know. And so I'm not actually just, I'm not going to offer my opinion. Let's throw it over to the interview with Dr.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Dear for the POM interview translation, and we have Dukdam on the side of DN Supers. And with that win, you'll head over to play-ins round 2. How do you feel? Well, first of all, I did not expect that 2-0, but 2-0 always feels great. And after the LCK Cup opening match, it was actually a rematch against KT, and this is actually your former team, so it was a perfect payback time. So how did you prepare? I think in the groups, because we had started off with a defeat, it felt like we started off on the wrong note. So it was actually really good that we were able to really pick ourselves up and prove ourselves. And Dukdam, this is actually your first POM this year. And with that Ezreal Yunara, you had a huge contribution. But which moment do you think got you that POM today? Well, I think for today, playing Ezreal, I couldn't really hit my Q today during the laning phase, and I thought to myself, I really need to pick it up during the team fight. So I think it must be Yunara in the end. Do you agree, fans? Everyone, it does agree with you. And yeah, in Game 1, from being 10k gold behind, you pulled a massive comeback. It must have been so thrilling for the players, so how is this possible? I don't think we were too concerned about the 10k gold difference. I think we just had such high value comp that if we were able to just stall it out and play it out, till the late game, we knew that we would win. And in game 2, you let the enemy take Jace. So, what mindset? What can you walk us through the thought process? I think if we were to take the Yunara pick and the Rise, we knew that we can actually go ahead and counter whichever comp that the enemy goes with, even if they take Jace. And in game, the same game, you played Yunara Rel against Caitlyn Bard, so how did that go? I think Yunara, as long as you stack easily, you would be able to win lane. So I think I was actually expecting that result that, we dominated the lane. And now with the playoffs on stake, you'll face either D plus Kia or Nongshim, but we just got the news that D plus Kia actually picked DRX, so you will face Nongshim. How do you feel? I think that's pretty good. Are you confident? Of course, I am always full of confidence. So we will look forward to tomorrow's match. You'll have to play your play-ins staged round 2 match right away tomorrow. So anything you would like to say to your fans? We'll make sure and win tomorrow, no matter what. Thank you. And that's the end of the interview with Takdam, and back to the desk. Thank you.